Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of Freedom Friday here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I am, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot, and we are joined by Tactical Muffin Top today.
What up? What up?
So, I got a couple of stories I want to talk about today. Obviously, I also want to talk about some personal stuff, because obviously I'm going to be pretty much homeless in the next 60 days, it seems like, give or take. So, I'm basically trying to go through a bunch of stuff right now that I can make money off of and basically get first and last for some places what it is. And then from there, I have no idea how I'm going to make money after that, though. But it is what it is.
Whole rent out.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably. Well, I'm working on disability, but they keep screwing me over on that one. So, because of all my back issues and everything else like that. And I guess with Ohio, it's like 52% of people get turned down the first time around, so it's whatever. It's not like a big deal. I can just fight it now, and I'm gonna get the lawyers involved obviously as soon as I can see an orthopedist here is what it is. So it's just a matter of time. It'll be once down the line is what it'll be. That was a problem right there. So I figure summer, maybe fall, by the time I actually get through to get it to this
You
is
could
there
get
though. So
one of those trike bikes, and then you could have storage in it, and then get one of those teardrop campers.
yeah. Well, I figure honestly, with the way things are going right now, even though I don't want to go down to Columbus, I'm probably going to move with my sister down there at some point in the near future for at least a month or two anyway, until things get settled then, and then sort of basically live out of boxes through the beginning of the summer then, and then basically try to find a place back up here then whenever well, depending on how much we can sell the house for, obviously. Because the problem with right now, and this is the one thing that pisses me off the most, and this is why I titled the chat of everybody trying to get one over on each other. So basically, the problem is you have government always trying to get one over everybody, no matter what. You have giant corporations, big pharma, big agro, big everything, basically trying to get one over everybody else there. Hang on a second, I gotta get this call.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Is there like maybe like a relative or something that has like a business or a small business or something you could do like on the side, or like I don't know, like a lawn care thing or something? Just something to make some shit under the table, like all the illegals do anyway. Maybe, I don't know.
All right, sorry about that. My cousin was calling me up because he's buying me a lottery ticket for tonight. So hopefully I can win like $400 million, and it wouldn't be an issue then.
If you win, I call $10.
No, if I win, nobody's gonna know, honestly, because I'm gonna be smart about it. Obviously, Ohio is one of these states where it can remain anonymous. So I've talked with this about family in the past, where we basically how we would do it and stuff like that. And it was first things would be go find a lawyer to create a trust, and then it would basically be whatever we're going to name that trust would then be who is actually the claimer of the ticket. And from there, it's basically, nobody knows who the fuck I am. Of course, things will change because, I'll still be living in this house in 6 months from now. And then I'll also be, doing other things as well for that matter. And then you'll start to see like various candidates of this country be endorsed and backed by the network itself is what it is then.
Hell yeah.
Because we'll literally be buying people's positions for them that are pro-2A and pro-life and everything else like that, and don't have the money to run. So you'll actually be seeing new people come up to the ballpark then and be able to get ahead, hopefully. And then
that's the most patriotic thing I've heard. Everybody's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna blow it."
No, I'm 100%. I'm 100%. Well, and the thing is, I'm not going to say I'm not an evil genius at the end of the day, or at least, close to it, if that be the case, then, or at least, patriotic evil genius, I guess I was about to say at that point, because the thing is, I know for a fact what Michael Bloomberg is doing right now, and he's always trying to go over on us because he's literally funding candidates in every single state house right now in this country, which should be illegal in itself for that matter, because it's like you're a multi-billionaire from a different state, literally bringing out-of-state money into this state to fund stuff. Not to mention, he also funded the shit to pass abortion on demand here a few months ago, and then he also did all the him and Soros too as well. Did the ad buys in August against issue 1 back then, which would have actually made us a 6% threshold state, which is so stupid people didn't look into that stuff more because of the fact that it's like, bro, if that had passed, we would have just been like the 43rd state that had 6% threshold to change our state constitution, is what it is. But instead, you listen to the dumbasses that were paying the shit off, which is Bloomberg, Source, etc., and kept us a 42nd state is what it is then. Or kept 42 states and not made us 43rd is what it was then. And then, of course, they passed abortion on demand by like very slim margins, which had we had the 6% threshold in place, they would have never got passed in November because it was only like 57% of the vote or something like that actually passed out of major cities what was there. So,
but yeah, there's some shady freaking shit with people with, way higher up than we'll ever be.
Yeah. And the problem is, and I've talked to people about this many times, even in my own state house right now, I'm like, how are you guys not fighting this in the courts based on the fact that this is a direct violation of the First Amendment of our state constitution when it comes to life? Like, it directly violates a 150-year-old policy, dude. Like, how is that not automatic, like, precedent for, like, a century and a half right now? It's just insane to me. They didn't fight on that one. But anyway. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, though, yeah, I'm trying to sell some stuff and make some money. Here's what it is then. And then it seems like everybody's trying to screw me over when it comes to stuff I'm trying to sell right now and, lowball me and everything else like that, which sucks. But, it is what it is. And unfortunately, you'll have that with people because, in this economy, you want to buy for the lowest price possible and then,
sell for the highest price possible. Man, everything I've been trying to sell, everybody's like, you want to go lower, you want to go lower. And then,
yeah,
I mean, everything I'm buying, I'm like, you want to go lower? I mean, me too.
Well, and the thing is, it's not like it's like an issue, but like when I know the value of something, like, no, bro, I'm like already cutting you a deal at like the price I'm asking you for it. And I know you're going to make money off of this. It might take you a year or two to do it all, but like, even still, like, yeah, you have better, contacts than I do because you're like an actual brick and mortar store, whereas I'm just a guy on the internet, basically. And that's the problem right now is people just don't want to, put the time and effort into that kind of stuff. Is what it is there, I think, unfortunately. So, I don't know. It is what it is. But like I said, if I can actually hit this lottery tonight, which is, obviously astronomical odds and stuff like that where it comes to being able to do that, I think it's like, I don't even know what the actual odds are right now. It's like 1 in like several 100 billion or something like that, I think, or something like that. So, yeah.
Just it's not enough to give you hope.
Yeah. Which, I mean, who knows? That being said, I heard there was a guy down in Florida, or gal, whoever it was that won it. They hit a $36 million lottery and didn't collect a ticket in the 90 days or 120 days, whatever it is you have to do so. So they lost out on that money entirely. So, sucks to be them, I guess. But it does kind of make me wonder if they didn't have like a heart attack or a stroke or something like that when they found out they hit the lottery. And that's why they didn't collect them.
So. I bought 2 lottery tickets my entire life.
Yeah. I will tend to, like, that's the thing. I don't really have like the cash a whole lot, but like when you have like the jackpots getting like $300, $400, $500 million and stuff like that, it's like it's hard not to. And just because you might, God forbid, you hit like 5 or 6 or all 6 or whatever the case be, and you're either a millionaire or a multimillionaire for that matter.
Just be happy with $100K.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on how you would use that, honestly, and how you would actually keep that. Because my whole thing is you would need, I feel like in our economy right now, you need at least a few million to start out with to then be able to put into various things to then make you more money to keep going for like some decades down the road is what it is then. But yeah, unfortunately, it seems like things are getting worse and worse right now. And then speaking of people trying to get one over on each other, get one over on us actually here as Americans, we now have a shitload of obvious Chinese foreign military at our fucking border. Group of mostly Chinese military-age males wait to be released into the United States. Once they enter, they will disperse throughout the country. Nothing to see here. And yeah, you got a few chicks in there that could easily be Chinese military for that matter as well. But yeah, it's all a bunch of guys then. Whole bunch of guys.
Watch out for the ninja stars.
And then a couple of females there. And the thing is, like, you can't tell me that like half of these chicks that are in this right now, because obviously some of those ones look like they're maybe middle-aged or whatever the case be, but like those early ones, like right here in the beginning, Ooh, no, fucked about me. Yeah, that chick's like right at the beginning there, like that one right there on the ground. Like she's definitely fighting age. Like she could easily be a Chinese military personnel or whatever the case be. And like almost all these dudes are definitely 100% like in the Chinese military. So to sit there and be like, oh no, it's perfectly fine. And of course you got Afghanistan motherfucker right here. That guy's definitely an Islamic terrorist. So yeah, it's a bunch of shit all the way around, man. And then not to mention all the sleeper cells that are already in this country for that matter as well that would be potentially activated at some point here in the near future.
Yeah, I tell you what, I've watched that sheriff from Ohio. I've watched
Yeah,
that video
Butler
like
County.
12 times,
Yeah,
bro.
Richard Jones or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that guy. Yeah, he was like, "Oh, there's a Chinese safe house in every state." So I'm going to assume
Oh yeah,
that means
there it is.
there's a Chinese police station in every state, just like that one that they went after in what was that, New
Yeah.
York or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I remember years ago, and this is why I started bringing up the whole X factors of the Civil War being Chinese and uh, Islamic sleeper cells. And it's because when you start looking back into it about 5-6 years ago, give or take, there was all these videos coming out from the Catskill Mountains up in New York there and stuff, and like a lot of other places too, for that matter, where you would have people go on like long distance motorcycle rides, and they would just make like stops randomly to just like chill out, stretch your legs, etc. There, and you would just hear a bunch of random gunfire, and they were looking down into these valleys and seeing like a whole bunch of Islamic motherfuckers like doing gun training, and I'm just like, what the fuck? So yeah, like it was wild shit, and then it like, and I've seen it firsthand here. I mean, hell, there's a when I was federally swatted about 4.5 years ago. At that time, there was a mosque down near Ohio State's campus. Actually, it's about a block away or so, give or take, from that place. And they had at the time at least 100 failed and successful terrorist attacks in this country, and yet they weren't being shut down. Yet they weren't being deported. Yet they weren't being arrested en masse, etc. And yet, meanwhile, the feds think I'm a fucking threat just because I simply had a thought crime about some dickhead named Andrew Yang.
Yeah, Ohio, how dare you? You're the problem, probably.
Well, and the worst thing is, when you look back at it then, these are the same fucking people. And these Fed boys will sit there, and they have actively, over the past 6, 7, 8 years now, give or take, maybe a little bit longer, not even, have had terrorist networks that were all done up, ready to go, people on terrorist watch lists that were Islamic, obviously, and they've done away with all of them in favor of being like, oh no, the white guy is the worst motherfucker alive now, and they're the domestic threat to this country, blah blah blah. It's like, no, we're not, dude.
We're a threat
Like,
to what they want the country to be.
yeah, exactly. We're a threat to them making a communist takeover, which actually brings me to something else I want to talk about in this whole situation, which is a video I was watching the other day from X, actually. And I'm going to see if I can find my profile here real quick because it's actually really, really interesting. It was this woman who is a California school teacher, and she was discussing with these dudes about how you basically have Marxism in our school system for the last like 40 to 50 years, give or take. And a lot of it is basically based around the teachers unions. It's not even like everyday teachers that are doing a lot of it. It's these government funded, specifically federal government funded teachers unions that are run by these Marxist pieces of shit, and they have taken over everything to where they're now pushing communist ideology everywhere, and the people that are backing them don't even realize that they're backing this kind of crap. Is what it is there.
Yeah, I think they did it pretty smart, trying to control the higher opposition, and the
Yeah, here
higher
it is right here. It's by a
intellect
guy
people,
named Terry Newsom, Newsome. It's titled Trans, Porn, and Indoctrination Replaces Reading, Writing, and Arithmetic. And yeah, the first 20 minutes or so of it is let's see if I can grab up some of it right now here. Trying to get to one point here. They're talking to, it's this woman here, Rebecca Friedrichs. She's a California school teacher, and she's basically like laying it out for them of how all these school systems have basically since the late 70s. It started with, obviously, when you look into women and gender studies, how it started up there and stuff. It starts back then with that kind of crap being pushed in these colleges. And then it basically goes from college age stuff to high school, down to middle school, and then eventually down to elementary in the last like 10 to 15 years or so, give or take. And
well, yeah, if you can pull the wool over to college level eyes, the rest is easy.
Then, of course, you're having all these people that are getting into education now that are, these already pretty much like Marxist indoctrinated pieces of shit right now. And they're taking over these school systems, unfortunately, in many cases. And it's a very, very sad situation all the way around, because it's doing is basically pushing this crap more and more. And you have the ones that actually are the bad apples in the mix being protected by these same teachers unions who are all for communist stuff. And yet, meanwhile, they're sitting there giving, $10, $20 million, $30 million, whatever it is, every election cycle to some random Democrat. Like, I know there was one they were talking about in that whole thing where it was one of these unions had given, I think it was like $4 or $5 million to Pritzker, the guy that's Illinois governor right now, for his last election cycle to be running for re-election then. And I know a bunch of them gave I think it was like 30, or I think it said something in there about like 30 or 40 million bucks given to Biden back in like 2020 or something like that then. So, yeah, it's a bunch of really shady shit in general. And it seems like there are definitely like a lot of teachers in the actual school system now that are not part of this Marxist crap is what it is, that are starting to wake up to it and being like, no, fuck these federal teachers unions is what it is though. But it's not enough of them yet. And they're not being able to speak out in record numbers is what the problem is right now. So, yeah, it's a bad deal all the way around.
And now they're collapsing small businesses so that we all have to be unionized.
Well, the whole point entirely was to start out with for, obviously schools in this country. Well, not the original point, but like sort of the secondary point around the time of, I'm trying to think what that was called now. It was like the industrial age or whatever back in like the late 1800s or so, give or take, 1900s when we started doing like steel and manufacturing production and stuff like that. Because it was literally to make these kids essentially cogs in the wheels so they could get enough education to essentially leave at like 8th grade, freshman year time period, 13 years old, 14 years old, something like that. And then eventually go straight into factories and be a factory worker for the next 30, 40 years of their life is what it is then. And unfortunately, it's never really changed since then. And what's actually has changed since then is you basically have had school systems in this country that have veered more towards young girls, actually, and the female demographic taking priority over everything, because meanwhile, you got young boys that just want to run around most of the time and, have fun and stuff like that. And instead, they're putting these young guys into, a school classroom environment to where they have to sit there for 8 hours, 6 hours, whatever it is then. And then they can't do that, obviously. And so you have all these, big pharma stepping into stuff like that and being like, well, now these kids just have a problem when have a attention deficit disorder or have attention hyperactivity disorder or whatever the case be. And so they're putting them on these ADHD meds that are more or less, when you look into them,
we're
actually
weaker, unfortunately.
Yeah. And when you look into most of these meds, though, they're actually like Ritalin and stuff like that is actually legalized, I believe, methamphetamines. So it's like crystal meth, basically. And the same thing with like Adderall. It's like legalized crack or something that Big Pharma makes, and they make derivatives of it, and it's actually like more potent and stabilized compared to like actual street drugs. That's what it is.
I've seen something else where they were talking about like tablet kids and how like they don't even have the muscles in their hands because they're just playing on tablets and stuff to even write with a pencil. So,
that makes sense.
They're almost just basically setting us up for slaughter with a generation away of just being absolutely no physical labor. You know what I mean?
Well, and the same aspect of that as well is the fact that you have, when they're not teaching cursive in schools anymore, and that's something that Frederick's woman brought up too, for that matter, because she was saying about how you can basically, because of all of our, actual founding documents in this country being written in cursive, when you don't have people who actually can speak or can actually read cursive of the, U.S. Constitution, etc. there, you can basically have some random person that's in power just start making shit up at that point and be like, oh no, this is actually what it says. It says this thing, and you can totally not have the right to keep and bear arms,
Yeah.
whatever the case be.
They started removing that heck when I was in elementary school.
Yeah. Well, I know for a fact when I graduated, and this was back in, well, no, technically I guess I left high school when I was 2003, so it would have been, yeah, we were still teaching it back then. So that would have been it would have been 2003. I would have been a sophomore back then when they were teaching it then. And yeah, it was fine back then, like it was working back then, but yeah, it's changed since then, obviously. So, but yeah, it's just craziness. That's what it is. And unfortunately, it's a whole situation where you have these people, like, it's all by design at the end of the day, because they're trying to make it so that we are dumber as a class, we are dumber as a
They want us to be
society.
very controllable, and they don't want our intellect that's going to be bred out of us in a generation or two.
Well, it's also the same exact reason why they're mass importing a bunch of illegals that are already pro-communist, pro-socialist, pro-Marxist, etc., because they want this voter base to be taking over. And then you got shit like this right here: 5-time deported illegal alien accused of killing 10-year-old boy walking home from school. I believe it was happening in New York City someplace, or near New York is what it was then. Oh, no, sorry. Midland, Texas is where it's happened. Yeah, so illegal alien is now accused of killing a 10-year-old boy walking home from school in Midland, Texas in a hit-and-run crash. Orlando Ortiz Alvarez, a 50-year-old 5-time deported illegal alien from Mexico, has been arrested and charged with drunk driving and causing a fatal hit-and-run crash that ultimately killed 10-year-old Alex A.J. Wise Jr. It said Midland is less than 4 hours from the U.S.-Mexico border. So according to Midland Police Department on February 8th, this piece of shit was driving a truck when he hit the kid who was walking home from school. Immediately, police said Ortiz fled the scene, leaving Wise in critical condition. Wise was airlifted to a hospital in Lubbock, Texas, but died from his injuries the following morning. So Wise was a student at the Idea Travis, and his family described him as, quote, the sweetest, coolest, funniest little boy you ever met on a GoFundMe post. The memorial fundraiser for Wise is being held tomorrow.
See, what I heard there was 5 times deported.
Yeah, and this was the kid he killed, by the way, was this little black boy here. So you got a fucking
We can't
Latino
have that in the news
murdering
because
a fucking
not
black
white
child.
people doing it.
So, just disgusting is what it is, dude. So yeah, kid just walking home from school, minding his own fucking business, and some piece of fucking shit drunk driver comes fucking barreling up and blast right through him with a vehicle. It's fucking disgusting, man.
Absolutely makes me disgusted. I don't understand why they think they can get a hold of a car and stuff when they're here.
Yeah. And then, of course, you got what I talked about the other day, which was basically that whole Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade thing just being a bunch of gangbangers and stuff. 2 juveniles charged in connection and shooting at Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade. So Jackson County office, the juvenile officer hit... Jackson County's Office of the Juvenile Officer hit 2 juveniles with firearms-related charges and charges for resisting arrest on Friday in connection with the shooting at Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade on Wednesday. So Associated Press reported that the news release from Jackson County Family Court noted that additional charges are expected in the future as investigators by the Kansas City Police Department continues. So they noted that the individuals, quote, were not charged as adult court because the 2 are juveniles, which also means officials are not releasing their names, which is absolute bullshit entirely. No, dude, if you're going to shoot a fucking place up, your asses need to be charged as adults immediately at that point. Simple as that.
I agree. I thought initial things were there was actually 3, but I haven't really heard. I've heard so many different articles.
There were 3 that were arrested. There was these 2, and then there was like a larger, very light-skinned black dude that was in like a red outfit who was on the ground and handcuffed. So I don't know what the deal was with that guy. So, but yeah, from what I was hearing about this though was what they were saying was that it was basically these 2 getting into some kind of a beef or something like that, and then just pulled guns out and started opening fire and stuff like that. So it was quite literally the Boondocks N-word moment crap is what it was there, dude. And unfortunately, like 20-something people, either got popped or got like twisted ankles and stuff, and the injuries there is what it was then. And then one person obviously died in the mix. So
yeah, it's just
disgusting either
one at the
way.
moment. Nothing. Everybody else that's been whatever injured, that's anything critical, is still just not dead. Yeah, they're in the hospital or whatever.
I don't think there's anybody else dead. Let me check though. Just to
Oh,
confirm.
gotcha. I thought from the sounds of it, there was like some pass through, and there was a couple people like hit.
I know there was a couple people that were hit with like bullets and like fragments and stuff like that's what it was, but as far as I'm aware, it's like nobody like major or whatever the case be.
Oh, gotcha. I hadn't heard.
Let's see here. 2 juveniles charged Kansas City Chiefs parade shooting. That was 2 hours ago. A day ago, Kansas City Chiefs players run from Super Bowl parade shooting crying. Teenagers charged 4 hours ago. Patrick Mahomes' wife, Brittany, visited wounded children at Super Bowl from the whole thing. Of course, you got Mahomes basically pushing for gun control. Of course, dickhead Biden is trying to use this whole situation to basically push an assault weapons ban again, which has nothing to do with that at all, dude. It's literally those 2 jerk-offs using handguns, no matter what, that were illegally possessed anyway because they're underage is what it is then. So, yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit entirely. And then we got Chiefs parade survivor heard fight break out before getting shot. Quote, I collapsed. So, yeah, that's probably what it was. It's probably that. And most likely, my guess is what it was them basically, maybe these two had like an ongoing fucking rivalry or whatever the case be to begin with, and they just happened to both be at the parade there, and it was like, oh, I'm gonna fuck you up. No, I'm gonna fuck you up. Kind of stupid bullshit or whatever the case be, and then eventually, of course, they can't just use fists and have a fist fight, so they both pull guns and start fucking trying to shoot each other. But of course, they're terrible fucking shots, so they end up shooting like 20 other people. Is what it is then. So,
yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's Joe, so he knows what's best.
It's almost as bad as the good old acorn drill.
Anything Joe touches is 10,000 times worse.
Acorn drill. While standing next to your vehicle with your pistol holstered, at the drop of an acorn, do 3 barrel rolls away from the rear of your vehicle, and then while lying on your side, unload your pistol into your own back window. Extra points if you crawl away yelling, I'm hit. For those who don't know the reference in this one, some dickhead cop in Florida the other day, there was an acorn that dropped out of a tree. He had a suspect in the back of his vehicle, claimed that he was hit, and then proceeds to barrel roll away from the vehicle and start opening fire on the back of the car. And then his idiot fucking partner hears the gunshots, comes over and starts unloading on the vehicle too. The guy that's in the back of the vehicle is miraculously not killed in the whole situation, but is apparently traumatized from what I was reading last night, actually. So, yeah, it's just fucking...
I'm traumatized for the guy. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Like, this is pretty much modern-day policing in any major Democrat-run city in this country is what it is, man. So,
dude, that guy got a lot of extra points because he yelled he was hit a lot.
Yeah. And then, meanwhile, when we got, like, actual problems in this country... You got Minnesota man charged with providing support to ISIS. How much you want to bet he's a Somali? So Minnesota man has been charged with providing, conspiring to provide material support to a designated foreign terrorist organization, according to documents released on Friday. So the Justice Department alleges that... Okay. Don't even know how to pronounce this guy's name, but I guarantee he's Somali. Harafa Hassan Abdi, 41... joined and trained with ISIS in Somalia. Of course he did. And then he encouraged others to join them as well. So allegedly in the report, he moved from Minnesota to Somalia in 2015. Justice Department said in the press release on Friday, once there, he joined the group of ISIS fighters in an ISIS training camp in the Puntland region of Somalia, which is the same place that Illinois was from, by the way. It's the Southern District of New York, U.S. Attorney Damian Williams said Abdi carried weapons and encouraged others to attack the United States while he was training with ISIS fighters. Claims he allegedly carried an AK-47, threatened to attack civilians in New York City, and encouraged others to carry out such attacks as well. So Justice Department says that during his time with militants, Abdi uploaded pro-ISIS rap music with lyrics threatening to attack the United States. One of Abdi's uploads contained the lyrics. I'm not going to talk about that shit. But yeah, just fucking ridiculous entirely, dude. And
God
this is what these people
America,
are, man.
man.
It's a bunch of fucking Foreign nationals don't give a shit about this country, never have. They're just looking for a way to fuck us over. I saw one earlier today, actually. It was talking about this dude in Europe who is an Islamic dude with 3 different wives. Let me see if I can find it here real quick, actually, and we'll talk about the whole thing then. Here we go. Yeah. This was 18 hours ago. It was... Mohammed doesn't work. He has 3 wives and 6 kids. Britain's social security system, supported by taxpayers' money, pays for everything he needs. That's why they invade Europe en masse. The sick system must collapse. Yeah, they're literally walking down to the fucking welfare system
using kids for basically your paycheck.
Well, it's not even that. It's them giving fucking free house to everybody. Here's what it is. Yet, meanwhile, you got people in Britain and the United States too, for that matter, where we could actually use, some food stamps ourselves as American citizens or as European citizens, whatever it is there, and yet we're not getting it. And yet we're giving these fuckers every goddamn thing on a fucking silver platter, for that matter. It's ridiculous entirely. And then you wonder why Americans and Europeans get fucking pissed, and it's like, it's not that hard to figure out, man. So, it's like, I'd love to be getting, like, a $5,000 fucking prepaid credit card every month to pay a rent and buy groceries and everything else like that.
Yeah, I'd take 2.
But I can't get that shit. But yet we can hit it to fucking illegals every time they cross the damn borders, what it is right now. It's fucking ridiculous entirely. So, yeah, anyway. But, let's see if there's anything else I want to talk about right now on this whole thing. Trying to see if we have anything decent on the Gateway Pundit to talk about here. So, let's see. Don't sniff me. East Palestine residents protest Biden's arrival 1 year after toxic train crash. Yeah, it's been more than a year now, actually. It's been about a year and a few days now.
Oh, it's just another day for him.
Yeah. Yeah, so Biden Friday departed the White House en route to East Palestine, Ohio. He is visiting East Palestine more than a year after toxic train crash happened. Said February 3rd. This says 2022, it would be 2023 is what it should have been. Just before 9 p.m. Eastern, Norfolk Southern train derailed in East Palestine, Ohio, a small town outside Midwest, with 400 people near the Ohio border of Pennsylvania. It's also about 15 or 20 miles from my family farm, which is probably contaminated water too, for that matter, now. And it sucks because that was one of the best places we had down there to go fishing and everything else like that. We still would eat fish out of those lakes and stuff. So I don't know if it would be some 3-eyed fish shit or not at this point, and even safe to eat them now, for that matter. Because I was hoping to have a fish fry this summer, actually. But yeah, so at least 11 train cars that derailed contained hazardous materials. Several cars were carrying vinyl chloride, a cancer-causing substance, and yet dickhead DeWine and dipshit Josh Shapiro, who is the fake-ass governor of Pennsylvania, decided it was a good fucking idea to explode this shit into a giant fucking ash cloud. And yet neither one of these assholes are being charged with crimes against humanity right now. Even though they both fucking should be. It's just absolutely fucking sickening, dude. Yeah, so it took Biden over a year to visit the site, but Trump arrived in East Palestine right away last year to deliver supplies to residents in need, including buying them food and also giving them water and shit like that too, for that matter. So, and I've actually looked into this stuff recently, and there's an old couple right now. Well, I shouldn't say old couple. They're older couple, like in their, I think, early 60s, if I'm not mistaken. And the husband, in the past year, has now been diagnosed with breast cancer. And the wife has all kinds of like fucking health issues with like lung issues now and stuff like that. That's what it is. And so does the husband too, for that matter. But yeah, it's just crazy. And for them to sit there and say like, oh, it has nothing to do with the vinyl chloride or the giant fucking ash plume that was fucking exploding in the goddamn air. It's like, bullshit, it doesn't, motherfuckers. 100% does.
No, we don't need any of that for lungs. I mean, ash and stuff like that, all the toxins, that's normal.
Yeah, well, I mean, hell, I could literally drive to East Palestine right now, tomorrow morning, set up a fucking camera, go to any river down there, pick up a stick, and shove the fucking stick into the water and go like this, and there's just a giant fucking plume of vinyl chloride shit in the fucking water system still is what it is there. And yet they're claiming this water is safe to drink for the past year now is what it is. It's like, no, it's not, dude. You haven't done shit to clean up anything right there is what it is. And we're fucking sick and tired of it. So, yeah. And yet, meanwhile, going to Minnesota again, Minnesota school district allows Muslim families to opt out of LGBTQ curriculum that forces everyone else to fucking be opted into it is what it is. It's fucking ridiculous, dude. Fuck that bullshit. This is taking so damn long to load, man. Jesus. There it goes. Yeah, so Alpha News has reported that St. Louis Park School District has now allowed parents to opt out. Will not allow parents to opt out of their children.
Catch you later, homie. I'm going to go give the boy a bath.
Ideology. It's a move by the district comes after the First Liberty Institute and the True North Legal sent a letter on behalf of 6 Muslim families that stated that forcing Muslims to learn LGBTQ lessons is a violation of First Amendment. How is that not the same for every American, dude? When you're pushing ideology on kids, it's fucking bullshit entirely. So, anyway, said 6 families previously requested the school to notify them of when LGBTQ-centered lessons were being taught so that they could opt their children out of these particular lessons. In a statement with Liberty Institute shared, the St. Louis Park public schools are allowing several Somali American children, which basically just means Somali children, to opt out of sexually based material being taught in English classes after the law firms sent 2 letters explaining how the district's previous denial of opt-outs violated First Amendment and state law, but yet they're going to opt in every American citizen child there. Fuck that bullshit, dude. No, fuck that crap entirely, dude. So after the district made the decision, Somalia's Queer Caucus let it know that they were against the decision, which I think this is the thing I was watching the other day, actually, if I can pull it up here right now. Okay, yeah, it is. Yeah. LGBTQ activists at a press conference on Minnesota's Queer Caucus legislative priorities signal their opposition to letting Muslim families in St. Louis Park District opt out of LGBTQ-related content. People are all a bunch of nuts, by the way. Like, okay, first of all, how the fuck are you going to have a queer caucus in anything in America, dude? Like, fuck all y'all, man, seriously. And then, of course, you got this motherfucker back here in the pink top who claims to be a woman, but is obviously a fucking trans motherfucker, a dude, is what it actually is. It's fucking pathetic and disgusting, actually. So... yeah, this person said, who do these people think they are? They have no say in this. All parents should demand an opt-out if they wish to do so. Exactly. No, it should be a guaranteed opt-out for that matter, dude. Across the fucking board now. It's a bunch of shit all the way around, man. So. Okay, I gotta talk. I gotta do this one because this is a little gift that somebody put up here. It says, everyone watching the Queer Caucus press conference, what the fuck is this piece of shit? Exactly. Yeah. I think this actually has to do with something I talked about the other day in one of the posts I did for the network, too, for that matter, where it was these same fucking lunatics who had... it was the one that was like the obviously trans person, there's what it was. Pushing some nut job bullshit. Here's what it is then. So, oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, this was titled Minnesota Has Lost the Plot. And it was, like I said, that same lunatic in the fucking pink top there, who was obviously a man pretending to be a woman right now. And this is part of that Queer Caucus bullshit where they were talking about, oh, we need to have full and equal access to protections, and it was literally them talking about now trying to push essentially a trans bill of rights. And it's like, motherfucker, go fuck yourself, seriously. Like, we've had it with your fucking shit, dude. Like, seriously, we had a fucking civil rights movement in this country back in the fucking 1960s. We don't need another one here in the 2020s by a bunch of fucking leftist lunatic fucking nuts trying to push all kinds of communist and Marxist bullshit onto the American people. Go fuck yourself. Fuck off to another country. Get the fuck out of America. Leave your citizenship at the door and eat a fucking dick, motherfucker. And it's as simple as that, really. I fucking had it with you people. I fucking had it with all your bullshit. I think every American besides myself has had it too, man. And we're fucking over it, dude. We're fucking over your fucking narratives, dude. We're fucking over your insanity. We're fucking over your fucking bullshit. We don't want it in our fucking system at all. We don't need to have your fucking trans ideology garbage pushed down children's fucking throats in school systems, you fucking dickheads. And it's as simple as that, really. Fuck off and fuck you. End of fucking story, dude. And that's where we're going to leave it off for today because I'm hungry and I got to go eat some food now is what it is. So I will be back. I'm debating if I want to do a Stand Your Ground Saturday tomorrow or not. I might do one. It depends. It depends on how awake I am right then. And depending on how long NEA goes for his bullshit then. Because I know he usually does his like little geek chat on Saturdays and stuff like that on his Geek Fusion TV channel or whatever then. So it depends on how long he'd do that for. If I'd want to do it before that or after that, I'm not sure, honestly. But I'd like to bring back Stand Your Ground Saturday at least once anyway, just because I want to have the ability to do a couple things here and there is what it is then. So, but anyway. Other than that, though, that's where I'm at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I will see y'all in the next one. Stay strapped, because you never know. You might have fucking terrorists right at your back door is what it is, dude. Or you might have fucking Chinese foreign nationals, literally fucking Chinese military trying to cross our border and come into our country illegally is what it is there. And yeah, enough is enough of this shit, dude. It's time to fight back against this insanity. It's time to fight back against the psychotic lunatics and lunacy in this nation. And it's time to primary everybody at the end of the day. So have a good one, y'all. See y'all in the near future. And like I said, make sure you're always carrying and be ready to stop anything because you never know if you're going to have to be the person that takes the shot or not. Later, y'all.